and welcome back to another kids session where we're looking at some of the amazing stories from the Bible. And I don't know if any of you are out there today, because quite honestly I wouldn't blame you if you were outside and playing in this wonderful, wonderful sunshine. But if you're not here right now with me, then I do hope that you will be able to watch this at some point and get in touch if you want to. I wonder if last week any of you managed to make a Noah's Ark or draw a Noah's Ark. Don't forget that you can send your pictures or poems or prayers or anything to me on Facebook or on my email, which I'll put up again at the end of the session. So I'd really love to hear from you. And I hope you are enjoying yourselves today, and I hope you're having fun with your families and getting outside there in the sunshine. So families are really, really important, aren't they? And some people don't have families, and some people have other people who look after them. And it's really important that we know that even though we may not have always have a mum or a dad, maybe we've got an aunt who looks after us, or a granny or a nana, it doesn't matter, because we are all part of one big family, which is God's big family, and we all belong together and we all belong to God. And that is what today is about. It's about belonging to one big family. And so we're going to hear in a bit an amazing story about the family of God, and some of that history and some of the famous people that we look back to and remember as part of God's family in that beginning. So before we do anything else, I'm going to say a prayer, and then we're going to sing a song, another new song. So let's put our hands together if we would like to, and maybe close our eyes, and let's pray. Dear loving God, thank you that everyone in the world is a part of your family, one big family. We thank you that you love every one of us, and that you have given us each other to care for each other and to love each other. And we pray that you will help us to love the people who are in our lives and look after them and value them. And we ask you to be with us now as we sing and listen to the story. Amen. So this is a song called We Are the People of God. And again, I'm going to try and move the words along. Oh, I need to get out of the way so you can actually see them. Good job I checked. I'll just move over here. I'll try and move the words along so that you can see them as we go. And I'll sing it a couple of times so that you can hear it and hopefully maybe join in the second time. We are the people of God, part of God's big family, one big family, oh, one family. We are the people of God, we belong to God and to each other, to each other. From every town and country we'll call upon God's name. Every each other and walking in God's ways, 'cause we belong to you. And we shout hooray! Let's give that another go, and I'll try and do this a bit better. It's looking at too many things at the same time. It's very confusing. We are the people of God, part of God's big family, oh, one family, oh, one family. We are the people of God, we belong to God and to each other, to each other. So we're going to come to our story now. It is the great family and the desert. So this is the desert box, which I hope you can see. Lift it up a little bit, you'll be able to see it even better. So many wonderful and important things happen in the desert. We need to know what it's like. I can't get the whole desert in my house, so here is just a little piece of the desert. The desert is a dangerous place. It is always moving. It's always moving, so it is hard to know where you are. There is little water, so you get thirsty, and you can die if no water is found. Almost nothing grows there, so there is almost nothing to eat. In the daytime it is hot, and the sun scorches your skin. But in the night it is cold. When the wind blows, the sand stings your skin where it hits you. People wear many clothes to protect them from the sun and the blowing sand. The desert is a dangerous place. People do not go into the desert unless they have to. When the flood was over, you remember the story of Noah and the flood. The creatures went out in all four directions of the earth to fill it up with life again. They often gathered along the rivers. The people lived in small villages and then cities. One of the most ancient of these cities was called Ur. In the city of Ur, the people believed that there were many gods. There was a god for every tree, every rock, and every flower. There was a god of the sky, the clouds, and the land. The world was alive with gods. But there was one family that believed that all of God was in every place. They did not yet know that, but that is what they believed. Abraham and his wife, Sarai, were part of that family. When it came time to move to a new place, they were not sure that God would be there. They also wondered what the new place would be like. They walked towards Haran with their sheep, their donkeys, and their many helpers. Even the old people and the children went too. They slept in their tents at night, and during the day they walked along the great river called the Euphrates. It showed them the way and gave them and all their animals water to drink. took a long, long time. Finally, they met people coming out of Haran. They knew the journey was almost over. Then they were there. Sometimes Abraham would go out to the edge of the desert and look out across the sand and into the sky. Then God came so close to Abraham, and Abraham came so close to God that he knew what God wanted him to do. God wanted Abraham and Sarai to move on again to another new place. And God said, I will make of you a great family, and I will bless you, and you will be a blessing. Abraham and Sarai did what God said. They went into the desert to the west of Haran and walked towards Canaan. They went with all their sheep and their tents and many helpers. This time there was no river to show the way or give them water to drink. They finally came to a place called Shechem. Abraham climbed up a hill and prayed to God, and God was there. So Abraham built an altar to mark the place. Then they went on. Next, they came to a place near Bethel. Abraham prayed again, and God was there also. Abraham built an altar to mark this place also. God was not just here or there. God was everywhere. Then they went on to Hebron to make their home near the oaks of Mamre. One night, God brought Abraham outside. He looked up into the sky. God came so close to Abraham, and Abraham came so close to God that Abraham knew what God was saying. You will become the father of a great family, and Sarai will be the mother. The members of the great family will be as many as there are stars in the sky and grains of sand in the desert. Abraham laughed. He and Sarai were very old. God's promise sounded impossible, but God said to change their names anyway. Abraham was to be Abraham, the father of many, and Sarai was to be Sarah. One day, 3 strangers came out of the desert. Abraham was sitting by his tent. He invited them in, and Sarah mixed 3 measures of flour, which is a lot. She gave them bread and meat to eat, and milk and water to drink, which was the custom. They told Abraham that he and Sarah would have a son. Sarah was standing by the tent, heard them, and laughed. They were too old. The 3 strangers went on their way. Do you know what happened? Abraham and Sarah had a son. They laughed again. So they named the baby Laughter. In their language, the word for laughter is Isaac. And the boy was grown. Old Sarah, who was now full of many years and very tired, died. She was buried in the cave near the Oaks of Mamre. Abraham was lonely. He missed Sarah very much, but he had one more thing he had to do. He sent his most trusted helper back to the land of his people to find a wife for Isaac. Abraham's helper stopped by a well in the evening. A young woman named Rebecca offered him water to drink and helped him give water to his animals. She was as full of courage as she was kindness. Rebecca then invited him to meet her family. He told her family about Abraham and Sarah and the great family. Rebecca decided she would like to be part of that great family. So they went across the desert and then past Shechem and Bethel towards Hebron. Isaac saw them coming and came out to meet them. Then Isaac and Rebekah were married. Old Abraham was now old and full of years. He died and was buried with Sarah in a cave by the trees. Then Isaac and Rebekah had children. Their children had children, and those children had children. And this kept on happening until your grandparents had your parents, and your parents had you. Now we are all part of the great family, which has become as many as the stars in the sky and the grains of sand in the desert. Now I wonder, what part of this story do you like the best? What part do you like the best? I wonder what part of this story is the most important part. What part is the most important part? And I wonder where you are in the story. Where are you in the story? Which part of the story is about you? I wonder if there's any part of the story we can leave out and it would still be the same. Would we still have all of the story that we need? And so that is the story of the great family and the desert. We can carry on thinking about that. perhaps if you've got some sand at home, you can use it to make your own desert. And to think about what the desert is like. Now before we go, we're going to say another prayer. And I'd like you to think about someone that you would like to pray for. It could be somebody in your family. It could be a mum or a dad or a sister or brother or uncle, aunt or cousin, granny, granddad. But think about a particular person that you would like to pray for. Or if it isn't somebody in your family, maybe it's somebody who is important to you in some way. Maybe a teacher. Maybe a teacher is very important. Somebody who's helped you. And perhaps you could pray for them today, remembering that we are all part of one big family. Even though we live in our own specific and special families, we are also part of one big family, and we all care for each other. So let's have a little moment where we're just going to be quiet, and we're going to picture that person that we want to pray for. I don't know what you might want to pray for them. Maybe that they are healthy, that they are happy. Maybe that God will take care of them. Maybe they are having a difficult time for some reason at the moment. And maybe we can just imagine them being held by God, who is our great parent, the one who takes care of all of us. So let's have a moment where we'll be silent, quiet and still, while we imagine this person in our minds and imagine God taking care of them. Amen. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day and a wonderful week and weekend, and I will very much look forward to seeing you again next Wednesday at 1 o'clock. God bless you all.